Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Miss Justice number one in here tonight. All right. And much love, PG. Much love to you, girlfriend. You know it. Number one. Oh, all right. Thanks for all you do. Love and prayers always. Hey, girlfriend. I appreciate everything you all do too. You guys, you, if it wasn't for all of you, I'm telling you, can't do it. Can't do this without all of you. So I thank you as well for your support and for being here for Summer all the time and being a voice for the voiceless. God bless you. God bless you. Absolutely. But I appreciate the 18 months member. All right. I appreciate that. You don't know how much. God bless. And Deputy, how you doing tonight? Number two in here. All right. God bless. Much love to you, Deputy. Good to see you. And Crazy Retired Lady, number three. Number three. Good evening. Good evening to you, sweetie. Good to see you in here. God bless. God bless and much love. And who is number four? All right, Catherine, you're number four. Hello, PG. Hello to you, sweetie. Good to see you tonight. Number four in here. God bless you. All right. Good to see everybody. Absolutely. Absolutely. Consider becoming a member, gifting memberships. Absolutely. And make sure you hit the thumbs up button. It helps. It helps the channel, keeps these kids out there, you guys. So if you haven't hit it, please do. Um, yeah, Summer Wells, active Amber Alert. Thank God. Amen. Um, absolutely, absolutely. Sub up and definitely hit hit that bell and give that thumbs up. Hey Dee, how you doing tonight, sweetie? Good to see you. Granny's house, there you are. Oh, that's beautiful, Dawn. Beautiful. Good to see you, PG. And chat, much love. Purple hearts for summer. God bless. Appreciate that. You're right, Deputy. Exactly. I needed that laugh. Hey, Jolly Life, how you doing? Em, how you doing? Good to see everybody coming in here tonight. Auntie Sherry, how you doing, sweetie? Thanks. We'll get to K anyone. Right. Hey, Candy, how you doing, sweetie? Good to see you in here. Hello, PG Chatting Mods. Much love and prayers for summer. Amen. Uh, LJ for life. How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. PG's little girl. What's up, girl? Good to see you in here. Absolutely. Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Hey, Anna. How you doing tonight, love? Good to see you. The legendary. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was a little late coming in. Sorry about that. Hey, Kathy. Good to see you. Oh, there's my Australia. Much love to you, girl. Good to see you. Absolutely. That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, girl. Amen. Legendary. I appreciate that. Let me see. I'm almost Georgia Wild Child. How you doing, Sherry? Good to see you. Lisa, Lynn, Jenna, how you doing tonight? Bridget, I'm trying to get. Hey, Dirt Mouth, how you doing? Jessica, Good to see everybody in here tonight. Oh, I think I'm missing spread love. How you doing? Hello, PG, and all you wonderful people who are here, mods in Summer's Army. God bless you. Good to see you, girl. Patty Ponytail, Michelle. Oh, PG's little girl. I appreciate that. A super chat. All right. There's my mama. I love you. Hey, girl. God bless. I appreciate the support for the channel. Absolutely. God bless. Hey, Reva. How you doing? Oh, PG's little girl. she get she gave her mama another super chat. All right. I appreciate it. Aw. Auntie Sherry said, hey, Sherry, my beautiful friend. You guys are so kind to one another. God bless you. She said, hello, Auntie Sherry. Hold on just 1 second, you guys. Okay, I'm just gonna have to put it with the noise in the background for a few more minutes. I have to keep up on the laundry, and I put a load on, and you know me, I had to do double spin, right? I had to do the double spin, and it's like driving me crazy. The noise driving me crazy. I'm downstairs by the washroom, and it's just making me plumb nuts. What do you guys think? Do you think that if our country has a national debt, why are you talking about politics, PG? Well, because I was in JLR's this morning. Anybody else see JLR today? He had a live earlier this morning, and a lot of discussion about you know um, about politics and government and so forth and so on. But anyway, it was a really good live. I was glad that I was able to stop in for a little bit and hang out. But it is one of the things going on in our country today, and they say we got a national debt, right? Okay, if we do, supposedly have this big debt, why would they want to give everybody, $2,000 a piece instead of paying off the national debt? It don't make sense. I mean, do we have one, or do we don't have one? Because if we do have one, and we're collecting TERBs now from all of these other countries, which we should have been doing the whole time, right? We shouldn't have ever stopped. But because they were taxing us. So, but if we got, all of this money coming in and going to be so much that we don't know what to do with it. Why don't we pay off our before we start handing it out? Why don't we pay off our national debt? Another thing that, that society needs to think about, we the people need to think about is we own this country. You got to wonder why, they're changing history around, not wanting, to remind we the people who owns this country. Why they, why they don't want us, us and our children and our children to come in the future, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. Why are they trying to, stop? Why are they trying to stop us? Why are they trying to stop us from, thank God. Why are they trying to stop us from, knowing who owns this country? Why are they, we the taxpayers, we pay the government not to make, big decisions on our behalf, crucial decisions. We don't pay them to make crucial decisions and then tell us, well, you hired me to represent you and these are the crucial decisions we're making. No, you don't have a right to make crucial decisions. That should be, on the ballot. That should be on the ballot for all of us to decide. Crucial decisions, should be on a ballot for us to be able to say whether we want or we don't want this. We hire you to do what we want, not what you want, and then fucking inform us about it later, right? We don't hire you for that shit. And, but we have to think about the prices of housing and minimum wage. Because I'm not going to take you back into the 50s or the 30s, 40s, 50s. No, I'm going to take you back in the 80s. Just in the, let's go to 1980. Because in 1980, minimum wage was $3.10. And a house was, you could get a house for a really nice one for $20,000. $20,000 for $60,000. You could damn near get a mansion in 1980. You could get a pretty damn nice looking home for $60,000 to $80,000. I'm talking about Victorian style, beautiful home. I'm talking about lots of rooms, big kitchen, beautiful staircase, beautiful inside, outside, homes. Now, people were making $3.25 and they could buy this home. They could buy this home for, like I said, usually, 2-3 bedroom homes were anywhere from 20,000 to 60,000. 60,000 to 100,000 was huge homes, like really nice giant homes. And the minimum wage was $3.25. So today you're making $7.25. You were making $3.10 then. You're making $7.25 an hour now. It's minimum wage. $7.25. Houses are at least 250 and up. I mean, the cheap ones are 250, like a one bedroom, one bath, to maybe 2 bedroom, 2 bath. But if you want like a 3, 4, 5 bedroom home, you're looking at 300 for a 3 bedroom. It's A lot. It's a lot. So here's my thing. It also depends on what state, what area, and what state you're in. For the market of housing. I mean, like I believe it's up in like Detroit, Michigan. You can get a mansion. You can get a mansion up there for 10, 20 grand, but nobody can live in it. No one can live in it. It's all boarded up. It's all boarded up. You can't live in it. It's destroyed. It's destroyed. All the people went away, and it got so bad. All the people went away. The houses just went to hell. You can't live in them. Of course, I mean, you could buy a house, like that. What you going to do with it? What you going to do with it? I mean, then you have to get a ball and crane to bring it down, and all you're going to have is a piece of land because you can't live in it. And then the city's going to be on you all the time because it's all boarded up. And then you're going to get all kinds of fines. And, so you ain't going to be able to do nothing but, you know, get permits to tear it completely down and have a big piece of land that ain't worth shit. And just hope that one day, like, for forever from now, maybe your great grandkids can profit off of it if they clean it up and it ever becomes something again. It might be worth something to 5 generations down the road. But what good does that do you? What good does that do you? It does you no damn good at all. I mean, it's an investment for the future family if they're able to, but probably your kids or your grandkids gonna sell it off any damn way, and for pennies, and it ain't gonna be there. You just waste your money. You basically waste your money. But anyhow, but the point is, if you're making $725 now, and the houses are $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, you're not. Basically, what that's saying is you ain't ever going to own a home. You're not going to own a home. I mean, you might try, but you're not going to be able to pay for all of it on $7.25 an hour. You're not going to be able to. You'd have to work 24 hours a day. When you going to sleep? You're going to end up losing it. You're going to end up losing it back to the bank, and they'll sell it to another sucker that thinks they could do it, and they'll lose it back to the bank. And that tells me that somebody don't want you owning land. They don't want you to have the American dream of being a homeowner. Ain't that the American dream? The American dream is, hot dogs, baseball, apple pie, and owning a home and a vehicle, and washer and dryer, and ain't that the American dream? Is to have a easy work and have and see something, have something for it. Well, today you're not having nothing for it. And then if you somehow, some way manage to pay for 30 years, 20 to 30 years, you're able to pay that house off. Then they want to charge you anywhere from 5,000 up to 10,000 or more taxes a year. Well, you're buying the fucking house back. You're buying it again. Why do you have to buy your house twice? Why are we buying our houses? Why are we paying rent after we worked our asses off to buy that house and that property and everything? And not only that, but get this, they're starting to call it, they're starting to say that, you're reliable for, your lawn and your sidewalk and all your stuff. But you got to pay this HOA fee, right? You got to pay HOAs, a bunch of money that does it. I don't know what the fuck they do. I ain't seen them do shit. I ain't seen them do nothing. But you got to pay this HOA fee every year. You got to pay an HOA fee on top, so you're paying an HOA. You're paying, a lot of people pay for trash collection, and a lot of people's paying these taxes. I mean, if you're paying all of that, you're paying rent on your own property. You're basically buying your property again. You don't own shit. You don't own a fucking thing. And that's the truth. You don't. What do you own? You buy it, but now you're paying rent on it. Somebody make that make sense to me. Make that make sense. I don't know. It sounds to me like they don't ever want you to own your home. I mean, taxes used to be, like, $300, $400, $500 a year, right? I mean, in the hundreds. Now they're 5,000. Are you kidding me? Who in the hell can pay $5,000-$10,000 a year taxes just because they own a house? I mean, and by the time you pay your house off, you're in retirement and you're getting a little retirement check. You can't hardly afford your medicine, and you've got to pay taxes, right? So that means that you cannot live in your own home comfortable. You can't live in your own home comfortable. That dream of one day being able to enjoy your home when you're older, you can't enjoy it. You're probably going to have to let some of your kids move in, or grandkids, or somebody move in with you to help pay the taxes. And and now you're putting up with another family. You're not going to ever get to enjoy your home. And that's bullshit. Is that what we pay? Is that what we pay the government for? Do we pay them to keep us in misery till we fucking die? We have to work our whole life, then we have to pay taxes that we can't afford, and end up living with other people in order to make ends meet, and we still don't get to enjoy life. Is that is that the fucking American dream? Because it sounds like a nightmare to me. I don't know. And $2,000, oh, they're going to give everybody $2,000. I don't want it. I don't want it. Right? That's me. I don't want that $2,000. I don't need it. I don't want it. I haven't got it. I won't miss it. Right? I won't be missing it. I tell you what I want. I don't want $2,000. I want the damn taxes to come down. I want property values to go down to people can afford them again. I want minimum wage. If minimum wage is $7.25, then I want houses. I want houses to come down where people making minimum wage can afford to buy them like they did in 1980. I want, bread. I want bread and the food to come down so people can afford to eat like they did in the 1980s. I want people to be able to live instead of the middle class is the poor people now. What used to be middle class are the poor. What used to be rich is the middle class. You have to be the super rich to be rich now. You got to be fucking Hollywood in order to be rich now. And why are they monopolizing everything like that? Why are, so where does that put the poor people? That puts them homeless. And that's why you got so many on the street. It puts them homeless. And healthcare, oh my gosh. You know, um, tell me where a good hospital is. Tell me where there's a good hospital where they really give a shit about your health anyway. Where are they any good doctors and good hospitals that truly care about you, that really want to save you? Tell me that. You know, it used to be people were doctors. They became doctors not for the money, but because, it was their passion. Writers became writers because of their passion and they wrote beautiful books. Poets became poets because, it was in their blood and they wrote beautiful poetry. And doctors became doctors, because they wanted to save lives. They wanted to, you know, they had a dream of people one day, not passing away and being able to live longer. You had, nurses wanted to be nurses because, it was their passion to give and not take. This was the passion of these people. Dentists want to be dentists, so everybody would have a beautiful smile and no one would, go down on themselves. These people used to have compassion, kindness, love, and caring. Today, everything's about the money. Oh, become a doctor because it's big money. Become, a nurse because it's really good money. Become everything because it's really, don't want to do the job, but like to make the money. I like the stigma of it. I like the clout from it. I like the paycheck, but I don't want to really do the job. And, teachers, same with teachers. Teachers used to become teachers because they had a passion to teach children and, they wanted to make a difference in somebody's life by teaching them to read and write and, and to be intelligent and able to move on and become something in life. But teachers, a lot of teachers ain't teachers today because they want to, because they want to make someone's life better. They're teachers because they get, a big summer break vacation. They get, weekends off. They make damn good money and they really don't have to do anything. They can, they open a classroom. They send all the work home with the kid. They bitch at the parents as to why the kids didn't get it done because they're sitting in the classroom really doing nothing, right? Really doing nothing. And you wonder why your kid's falling behind. It's because ain't you paying those teachers to teach your kids what they're telling you your kids ain't learning? How come when they have a parent-teacher conference and the parents walk into the conference and the teacher's saying your child's falling behind or not bringing their homework back and this and that, how come the parent doesn't say, my kid is here from freaking, like 8 o'clock in the morning till, 3 o'clock in the day. They spend more time with you than they spend with me. And how come if they're here 5 days a week, that fucking long, how come they're falling behind? Ain't you the teacher? Ain't you the one that's supposed to be working to keep them up to grade level and making sure that, that I'm proud of them at home, that I'm, as the parent, I'm the one proud that, that they're learning so much in the school. How can I be proud that my child's learning so much in the school if I've got to teach it at home? Why don't I just freaking keep it at home? Why don't I just keep my kid at home if I've got to, if I got to be the teacher any fucking way? Why am I sending it here? Why am I having this conversation with you? What the hell do I have to be proud of? If I got to do all the work. I do the work, you get the fucking credit. I bring my child up to grade level and you get the credit for it. Like you did my fucking job. What is your job, teacher? What is your job? To call the parents in here and ask them why that they're not keeping the kid up to grade level for you. I think if you was doing your fucking job, my kid, I wouldn't be here right now. Because my kid wouldn't be below grade level. Because this is the grade you teach and the grade my child should be learning. And if my child ain't learning, obviously you ain't teaching, right? So let's put the blame where it really fucking needs to go, on your ass, on your lazy ass. I think you need to be fired. If you can't do your job, keep these kids up to the grade level you're supposed to be teaching, then you need to be fired. And let's get a teacher that can. Because there used to be one teacher in a mother freaking one room schoolhouse teaching 5 different grades, and every one of those kids were learning on that grade level with one teacher teaching 5 different grades. So what the fuck are you doing? Right? There you go. I'm going to tell you, you got to hold people accountable. They're gaslighting your ass. They're calling you in there and they're gaslighting your ass. They're making you feel like you're the fucking problem when no, they fucking are the problem, not you. Right? And if they were doing their job, your kids wouldn't have time to be getting in trouble at school. Your kids couldn't get in trouble if the teachers were actually doing their job and making your kids work their brain instead of having all that idle time in school when they're not being taught, all that idle time, when they should have been doing that homework instead of bringing it home. They wouldn't be getting in trouble. Right? I mean, it's time that we, the people, turn the table back on these people trying to turn it on us. It's time we turn it on them. It ain't us, it's them. They need to learn to do their jobs. Just saying. I know people get upset with PG, but I'm going to tell you, I was in the school system. I was in it, right? As a student, as a parent for a while, till I took my kids on homeschooling. Won't ever send them back in a brick and mortar school because, they don't learn shit in there. And they're not teaching them nothing. And I've worked in the school system. I've actually worked in it. Yes, I have. And I'm going to tell you something. It's crap. I watch firsthand how these people, are motivated. And they're not motivated at all. They're not motivated. There's no structure. There's no anything. It's ridiculous. Matter of fact, to be perfectly honest with you, I felt that, some of the damn teachers were, I felt that some of the children, and this was grade school, not just, not middle school or high school. This was grade school. I mean, I've had my dealings with middle and high school as well, but I'm talking about grade school, and I'm going to tell you, I felt that some of those kids had more brains than the teacher. They actually act older than the teachers, there's something up, something up with these people. Um, they they don't take nothing, they don't take nothing serious, like I said. And, they were getting awful ugly. Like, I tell you what I didn't like about the school system, as these teachers stood around and they talked about the parents of different children right in front of these people's child, which made the child feel bad. They said ugly things to the children, to the kids. Um, the special needs classes, I observed some of the things going on there, and they would take these kids and put them in these basket holes, sometimes just to demonstrate, to show other people. And the child felt embarrassed, the child felt ashamed, the child didn't like being an example for Funzy. um these people can be cruel. They can be fucking cruel inside of these places. They can be very cruel. And now they're using excuses to lock the doors, keep the parents out, and you don't get to, you don't, parents don't, the doors ain't open for you parents to walk in or grandparents to walk in and observe the bullshit going on inside these places. These people are they can get very nasty, very ugly with your children, say stuff that you have no idea is being said, and you wonder why your kids having problems at home. Think about it. Think about it. What do you think a child thinks when the teacher says, "Oh, your mama brings you here because she need a babysitter. She don't bring you here because you need to be taught anything. She bring you here because she need a babysitter. We ain't nothing but babysitters." Well, if you fucking feel like you're a babysitter, then you should get a babysitting job making a babysitting wage instead of fucking calling yourself a teacher, right? That's how I feel. Put a 1 in the chat if that's how you feel. Because I'm going to tell you something. You're not a babysitter. When you take a job on, when you go into a school, and you take a job on as a teacher, you are being paid. You're being paid to go take your ass in that classroom and teach those children at that grade level. If it's kindergarten, then your ass is in there to teach those kids right hand from left, how to tie their shoes, how to say their ABCs, how to do basic math, how to, you're supposed to be teaching them about all of our presidents and why this country was founded, how it was founded, what made it so great. You're supposed to be teaching them about science, right? You're supposed to be teaching them why trees and grass grow, all the birds, and about the birds and the squirrels and all the different animals and why they live in different habitats and all the stuff. You're supposed to be teaching these children on that grade level. That's what you're there for. You're supposed to come in there in the morning and you're supposed to have a plan. And you're supposed to be doing this from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, you're supposed to be doing that. And from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, will be lunch, you're supposed to be catching up on the 2 subjects of that morning. And then the children go to lunch. When they come back from lunch, you're supposed to, get on another subject. And then you're supposed to be doing art, and you're supposed to be doing gym, and you're supposed to, it's a routine, baby. It's a freaking routine. Get your ass in gear and start fucking doing it. And these kids if you make it fun, these kids are going to learn, and nobody's going to be behind. and everything's going to be good. But the reason so many of these kids are not learning is because these teachers ain't teaching. Their routine is to come in there and get away with this doing as little as they damn can and sending it to rest home with the kid for the parents to do. So they're doing about, I say they're doing about maybe 25% and sending home 75%. Okay, so you're basically pretty much completely educating your child anyway. After you get home from a hard fucking day's work, after you did cook supper and you did dishes, now you're doing homework with your kids, which that should have been done at school because that's what she gets paid for, right? I mean, nobody was doing my damn job. Nobody was doing my damn job. Nobody came in. I didn't get to sit on my ass at my job all day. And when I clocked out, I don't have nobody to come in and do all the work that I should have done so I can get a paycheck. Does any of you guys have anybody come into your job and do what you should have been doing so you can get a paycheck? Because that's actually what's going on. Parents are doing what the teacher should have did so the teacher can get a paycheck. Why in the fuck am I doing what she should have done so she could get a paycheck? If I'm going to do the work, give me the fucking paycheck, okay? That's how I feel. And I'm going to tell you something. They act like they give such a shit about all of these children at the school. Some teachers do. I'm not going to say they all don't. Some do. But I'm going to tell you a whole hell of a lot don't. Because when that big C word happened a couple years back, the big C word went down, then teachers didn't give a fuck where your kid was, did they? Did they call you up and check on your child? Did they call you up? Did they offer to do, one-on-one schooling with your kid over the internet so they could keep it up to grade level? Hell no, they didn't. Hell no, they didn't. Did they come by your house? Did they worry about your kid eating or being abused or anything about do they call you up during the summer? In the summertime? Does any teacher stop by or call you up just to check on your kids to see if they're eating and everything's going good at your house? Hell no, they don't. But they got their nose all stuck up your ass the rest of the time, right? Because that's their tactic. That's their tactic. It's a scare tactic towards the parents. They want to act all fucking concerned to try to bully the parents. That's been one of the devil's old tricks for a while now. I can't be bullied. I can't be bullied. You ain't going to bully me, bitch. You come in my house any day of the fucking week. It's corner to corner, freaking spotless. Trust me. When the freaking Chrysler building was built, that bitch was brand new, it didn't outshine my place. I'll tell you that right now. Come visit me. Come visit me. All you're going to find out is I'm not a lot of parents that you can bully. That's what you're going to find out. You're going to find out I got attorneys coming out of the woodwork. You're going to find out that you just met your fucking match. You're going to find out you wish you wouldn't have known me. Let's talk about it. I'm not letting people bully me. They need to do their damn job. And if they ain't doing it, I'm going to be the first one to fucking tell them. I don't care. I don't give a damn. Don't try to bully me. I'll pull every skeleton you got out of your fucking closet and then ask the Board of Education why the fuck you're even working there. Right? Because I know everybody's got skeletons. And they ain't hard to find. They ain't hard to find. Straight up. I'll be my attorney. I have my attorneys ask for have you go to the doctor and do an immediate drop. Because I'm going to tell you something about teachers. They like to do some of that, good stuff too, when they're not supposed to. They like to go out and party hard on the weekends when they're not supposed to. Don't bully me. Because I tell you what, private investigators are a dime a dozen. There's all kinds of them. Private investigators, you can hire one like that. I'll know exactly when to ask for you to be tested. Trust and believe me. I don't play like that. Leave me alone. I just want them to do their fucking job, and let us do ours. Right? That bullying shit is a two-way street. And a lot of parents don't know it. A lot of parents go in there, they get bullied. I watched a lot of parents get bullied. I watched a lot of kids get bullied. I heard a lot of children get talked to in a way they shouldn't have been. I don't like it when people do that kind of stuff. I don't know what's going on in those teachers' lives, but don't rechannel your fucking aggression on other people's children. Don't stand out in the hallways and talk about all your problems or all your bullshit when you got kids in that classroom that you need to be in there watching and learning, right? Just stop it. Do your damn job. That's what I'm talking about. But this country is all about the money. It's not about, the love and the passion anymore. And that's what we better understand. That's what we, the people, better start understanding. And you better start understanding, that if you don't start turning the table, well, it's, you ain't going to own anything. You ain't going to own nothing, right? Like I said, you don't really own your house because you're going to end up paying for it again in taxes and everything when you're too damn old to really do it. You ain't going to own your kids because that school's going to act like they do instead of you. They act like they're the parent and you're the damn babysitter, right? And you need to be doing everything that teacher wants you to. No, that teacher needs to be fucking doing their job and minding their damn business. Your kid's job when it gets home is to mother freaking get a snack. It already spent a whole day at work. It needs to get a snack. It needs to have some time to be a kid, eat dinner, watch some TV, get a bath, get its clothes laid out for the next day, brush its teeth, its hair, and climb into its bed and go to sleep, right? That's what your child needs to do. It needs to have time to wind down and get away from all of that schooling, that hard day's work as well. Just saying. And we would have a happier society if children could do that. We'd have happier parents if they weren't being bullied by the school when it comes to their children. We'd have a happier lot of things. What you don't understand about them old folks is them old folks didn't tolerate nothing. Them the reason they didn't bully old folks like they bully you is because them old folks would have said, uh, we won't need you teachers. We'll teach all of our kids at home. We don't need you. All of them old folks, they'd have been, we ain't paying that kind of taxes. We bought this house and we're not paying taxes like that on it. We can't afford them. And you ain't going to do this to us. They would have, they would have stood up. They would have stood together. Those people stood together for everyone's rights because they knew, the old folks were smart enough to know, if you allow your neighbor's rights to be taken away, it won't be long that they'll be taking away your damn rights too. We have to stand together. They want to divide us. They want to divide us so they can take everybody's rights. And the people are listening to that. The people are letting them divide us. I'm going to tell you, real educated humans will not be divided. They will not be divided because they know that there's strength in numbers and that we, the people, have to all stick together no matter what. We got to all stick together for everyone's rights, for all of our rights. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Or else everybody loses. Everyone loses. Because see, if you don't stand for my rights and you let my rights get took, you think I'm going to give a shit when your rights get took? I ain't going to give a damn. I'm going to feel like karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. When you sit there and you let my rights get took, and then yours, it comes your turn, you think I'm going to vote for you to keep yours? Hell no. Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. They're going to get yours too. And that's what they bank on. That's what they count on. It's just the way it is. I like to tell you that, I would be a good person and vote for you to keep yours, even if you didn't vote to keep mine. But see, that's bullshit. That ain't the way life works. That ain't the way life works. I'm upset because I lost mine, because people didn't stand up for me to have mine. And I'm not going to stand up for them to have theirs because I don't care. They didn't care. They didn't care about my rights when it didn't apply to them. Why the hell should I care about their rights when it don't apply to me? But if they would have voted for me to keep the rights that applied to me, I would have made sure I voted for them to keep the rights that applied to them. I would have made sure I was in that line, making sure their rights were safe as well. Because see, one good turn deserves another. And that's how people think. That's just how society is. That's human nature. Lisa, that is hilarious. Did you know in China that nobody owns land? Did you know in China you can actually purchase land in a building, but it don't belong to you. You can like to live in, you can purchase it for like 60 or 70 years and and pay for it. But in 60 or 70 years it goes back to the government. And so does the building, anything you did on it goes back with it. Um, and as far as businesses go, like if it's a business, it gets taken even sooner. I think it's like 20 to 30 years. I think it's like 30 years. It gets taken. The building, like if you get a piece of land and you put a business on it, well, when the 30 years is up, they don't only get the land, but they get the building and everything that comes with it as well. It goes back to the government. You cannot own any and outside countries, outside, foreign countries cannot own anything in China. You cannot, you cannot buy land or anything in China. Absolutely not. Everything belongs to their government. And that's why I didn't understand how China was able to own land in America. You do know that they own land in America. Put a 1 in the chat if you understand they own land in America. Why does America allow foreign countries to buy land, especially farmland, in America? I don't know. There's a whole lot that's going on in these politics that we the people, need to keep up to date on. And I just want to give a shout out to JLR, for holding lives like that. I do. I give a shout out to him for keeping everybody updated on, the basically all the news and everything going on all around our country. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that he does that. I know that we're true crime and we talk about these missing kids and stuff, but you know what? We need to stop. We need to stop sometimes and focus on what's going on around us in our political world, right? We need to focus on that. And right now it's really important for us to be focusing on it because, a lot of things are coming into play that, that are hindering we the people in this country. And we need to turn that table back, maybe not for ourselves, I can't say that I've lived my life because I think I've got plenty of life to live. And I can't say that any of you have lived your life. I don't give a damn if you're 60, 70, 80. You ain't lived your life, baby. If God's still waking you up every day, you have not lived your life. You're still living. You're still living. You still got a lot to live. And we all need to be standing up, turning that table, not just for ourselves, but for our children and our future grandchildren and great-grandchildren. We need, to get to teach our kids to to pay attention of what's going on around them, where the government and everything's concerned. We got to teach our kids that, the political world is very important because those are the people who work for us. We do not work for them. They work for us. But they're starting to make people feel like you're working for them instead of them working for us. And that table's got to be turned. It's got to be turned back. And they got to know who's the boss. We're the boss, not them. We the people are the boss. It's our paychecks, our taxes paying their wages. It's our money they're spending, not theirs. And I think they're spending way too damn much of it because it's costing us everything we have because of their spending. And that spending needs to come down so that we don't have, so we can have a little bit of spending money too, right? I mean, why in the hell, are we paying, why in the hell are we paying taxes for them to send to other places that ain't none of our business? Why do we got homeless people everywhere when we pay a ton of taxes that, that should keep them off the street? Why do we have such high crime when we're paying tons of taxes to a court system and a law enforcement that's supposed to be keeping all of that under control? Why are we paying all of these taxes and we're not getting no damn benefits from it? Got to ask yourself that. Most of all, you need to ask, these politicians. You think people care about you? You think that, that they care about we the people? When the big C word happened, you were on your own, right? Put a one in the chat if you were on your damn own. Put a one in the chat if you felt lonely as hell when the big C word happened. Put a one in the chat if you felt like you were on your damn own and nobody gave a shit during that time. Everybody was just doing them and worried about them and didn't care about no one else. Everybody was so afraid they didn't care about nothing but themselves. Put a one in the chat if you really felt isolated and lonely. Because I'm going to tell you what, I sure the hell did. I sure found, when you show up at a doctor's office and they're sending you out of there because they don't know nothing about the C word and they have no cure for it, and they're like, you got to go, you can't be in here, you felt lonely as hell. You felt like nobody in the world gave a shit about you. Just the way it was. And I'll tell you another thing. Also, you have to realize that, look at the government shutdown. Look at the government shutdown. Do they care how you ate? Do they care how you're going to make it the rest of this month? Do they care that right now you ain't got nothing to eat on? Do they care how you're going to make it? No. If they truly gave a fuck about you, they would have came to a resolution before a resolution was even needed. They'd have said, hey, we can't do this. We can't do this to all those people who are paying us and keeping us up here to work for them. And how are we working for them if we're not willing to come together and do what's righteous in the sight of God and in the sight of the people to keep this country moving forward and keeping these people well and healthy and able and and not stressed about where their next meal's coming from. We can't do this. But they did it. Oh yeah, they're still, and that's the bullshit. That's the bullshit, because when they shut down all these government jobs, all these people, a lot of these people working for the government ain't getting paid, right? When they shut down all the stamp offices and all, the people supposed to be sending all this stuff out and doing all this stuff, we don't need you. Because we're all shut down. But all the big wigs were getting their monies. But all the people underneath them, as it trickled down, they were getting nothing. They were laid off, getting nothing. Shit, I don't even think they could get, I don't even think they could get like, workers' compensation or anything because all of that shut down. So how are they going to get anything? There's no money for none of this stuff. So these people, these people are out of work. They're probably lined up at, Burger Kings and McDonald's and all these places trying to get a job, you know. I think I saw a few of them there working, but that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, in the ballroom, right? Right. We got a, and how many citizens like us are ever going to see? How many citizens like me and you are ever going to motherfucking get to dance in that ballroom? How many of us are ever going to get the opportunity to be there and dance on that dance floor? I know I sure the hell ain't, right? I'm not even looking forward to it. I'm not even looking forward to being Cinderella for a night in the president's ballroom, right? I'm not even looking forward to it because I know it ain't going to happen. I'm smart enough to know people like us, our shoes will not ever be on that ballroom floor. That's for all those big rich people, you know, the ones that the elites, the big elites, to be dancing on and showing up in. Hell, most of us couldn't even afford the mother freaking limousine to pull up out front and let us off, right? We can't even afford the limousine to pull up out front and let us off. We couldn't even rent that, right? So I I ain't looking forward to busting a move on the dance floor of the big showroom at the White House that is being built at this particular time. Yeah, not you're right, second to none. None of us is good enough. Absolutely none of us. None of us are good enough. We're good enough to pay shit tons of taxes. We're good enough to pay the taxes on our food. We're good enough to pay the mother freaking, taxes on our homes. We're good enough to pay, mother freaking sales tax and home taxes and every other kind of fucking taxes that's known to man. We can pay all these taxes, and you know we get hit. We get hit with the school tax, and we get hit with the road taxes, and we get hit with the court system and the law enforcement, and all of these taxes coming out of our pockets, to keep up the whole fucking world, so everybody can have roads to drive on. If you don't have a car, you still have to pay the taxes the taxes for the good roads for everybody else to drive on. Even if you don't have kids in school, you still have to pay the school taxes, for everybody else's kids to go to school. It, even if you don't need it, you still got to pay for it. Ask me what's fair about that. What's fair about it? What's fair? If you ain't got kids going to school anymore, and you ain't, and you're fucking too old to drive or something, why are you paying for that shit? Why are you paying for it? You know, I think I think if you don't have a driver's license, you shouldn't have to pay road taxes. I think if you don't have kids going to school, you shouldn't have to pay for school taxes. That's my opinion. Let all the people, let all the people using that stuff pay for it, right? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Shit, I've seen neighborhoods where the schools are all shut down. Like all the schools are shut down. The kids are bused. They're bused clean somewhere else because there's no schools in that area. But still all the people owning homes in that area have to pay school taxes. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Shouldn't they be paying a lower tax like bus taxes, because the people where the school is, the people there already are paying taxes for the school. So shouldn't the areas that where all the schools are shut down, shouldn't the homes around there just be paying a lower tax just for school buses that pick the kids up because they don't have no schools in the area for the kids to go to? Right? But why are you still paying taxes when there's no schools in the area for a child to go to? Don't make no damn sense to me. That's what I'm talking about. It's like when the gas prices went way, way up, they said, well, food prices have to go up because the gas prices are so high, and that's why the stores have to raise the food. But when the tax prices went down, the food prices didn't go down, right? Food prices didn't go down. They stayed the same. I'm like, hey, the gas prices went down. Why is the food still up? Because they feel if you were able to pay for that high gas and that high food, when the tax prices went down, they figured, hell, just keep letting you pay the high prices because they're making more. They're making more, right? And I'm going to tell you, I don't know who, when it comes to Google Maps, like, I don't know who made that map, but I promise you that if you use it, like you're in your car and you set it to go somewhere, I promise you it takes you way out of your way. It'll take you way out of your way. Like there is like a way faster way to go, but it'll take you, you know, around the damn bush, the longest way back or to where you're going. And I'm thinking, hell, they must have, some stock in the oil company somewhere, because they definitely, you know, are taking you way out of your way, which is going to cost you a lot more in gas than it normally would, you know, if you look at a regular map, you could have, mapped it out where it had been half the time. It'd have been half the time just taking back roads instead of going the way it had you going. Put a one in the chat if that's pissed you off too. When you get took way out of your way and then brought back where you could have been 30 minutes ago. Yeah, it pisses me off. And it's dangerous. And it's dangerous because roads are shut down and shit, and it didn't even know it. And lanes run out. It'll tell you to get in this lane, and then that damn lane ends. And, you have to pray real hard. You got to pray real hard because it's like, oh my gosh, right? What the heck's going on here? I mean, yeah. That's just some of the shit I've been putting up with as well. And that's why I tell, that's why I tell humans, stand together, man. Stand together as one. We are, this is one country. We are all one people. We're all in it together. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn about what your culture is. I don't care. I don't even care. I don't care if you're pink, purple, blue, or what mother freaking culture you are. Race. Nothing else. We're all humans. I'm going to tell you something. When you get to heaven, there's going to be every freaking culture there. There's going to be every type of human there. If you can't stand together and you can't stand as one on this earth right now and show God that you know how to treat people kindly and good and as one, you ain't going to get in the pearly gate. You ain't going to get there. I ain't got time. I ain't got time for all that hatred. I ain't got time for all of that ignorant bullshit. I ain't got time for it, you guys. I ain't got time to be hating people because of this and because of that. It don't make no damn sense to me. There's good people in every culture and there's bad people in every culture. You just got to pray that you meet up with the good people and, and God lets the bad ones continue to roll behind you while you keep stepping and they can't ever catch up. That's what you got to do. That's right. I'm going to tell you something about humans. We all have the same struggles. Every damn one of us have the same struggles. People think you don't understand them. Oh, hell yeah, we understand one another. We're all dealing, it might be a different day, same shit. It might be same shit, different day. But we're all dealing with the same. It's just the way it is. And we really need to just stop letting a group of individuals that want to keep us divided so that we ain't watching them. Keep us focused on a bunch of BS instead of what's really important. We got to stop allowing that to be done to us. We got to just stop it. They know how to gaslight. They're masters at gaslighting, manipulating, and playing people. They feel that there's a lot of ignorant human beings in this world, and that they can prey on them and divide them and use and abuse everybody. And we got to stop allowing it to be done. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. It's just how I feel. And a lot of people are afraid to say what I'm saying. A lot of people are afraid. They're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to speak out. They're scared. People are scared. I don't know why. I don't know why. I guess that this world's been so divided that people feel like they're standing alone and they're afraid. They're afraid that they say stuff and nobody's going to stand with them. So they're scared. They're scared they're going to be standing by themselves and they're going to be a target, and it's bullshit. And it's bullshit. No one should have to stand alone. Everybody should be standing together. And when they get, when they get to heaven or get, at the end of time, let me tell you what the Bible says. It says that every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. He is the Lord of Lords. Everyone is going to confess this. Now, let me tell you something. It also says in the Bible that there's going to be two sides. Everyone is going to stand in the day of judgment. There's going to be the goats on one side and the sheep on the other. You better hope you was a sheep. And I'm going to tell you something. They're going to be standing together. There's only two sides, the sheep and the goats. There's only good and evil. You're going to be, you're already standing. You're already standing on one side or the other. You're already on one side or the other. That's just the way it is. Hi, Sherry, I'm bringing you up. What's up, girlfriend? I can't hear you, Sherry. You got your mic. You're muted.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm so sorry.
It
I,
happens.
I was just listening to you, thinking about everything, and it's you've given us some thought provoking information.
Amen.
You really have, and I hope I've tried to explain that not all teachers are the way I've seen the teachers you're talking about. They come in Monday morning, they say, "Oh, is it Friday yet?" And
Yes.
they're saying this in front of my kids.
Yes,
Then we
they are.
got this. Then we got this teacher. It's 15 minutes every morning. I sit my kids down there with her third grade class. They were that responsible. They could go in and read a book or do something with them.
Right. Right.
You know. But yeah, there's some pretty bad teachers, just like there's some bad doctors, lawyers, every other
Absolutely.
profession. I was blessed to work with a team of wonderful people.
You know,
Children come first. They came first. And by the way,
and
PG, you're way off the topic tonight, honey.
and a lot of children, you know, and a lot of children, they take what these teachers say home with them. When children
It goes both ways. The kids bring stuff to us too. They're like, "Oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe what happened to my mom and daddy last night." I'm like, "You sure you want to tell me this?"
what do they say?
My daddy got drunk. He smacked my mama. They told me to go out of the room and go to bed. How am I supposed to go to bed this week when they're in there screaming at each other? You know, kids will tell you stuff.
Hmm.
Especially if it's something that bothers them, PG, like something like that. You know,
You know,
they will tell you. So I always used to tell the parents, well, don't worry about what you've heard about me because I've heard a lot about you too.
like, right? Like, I made it a habit. I did let a couple of my kids go to school, grade school. And I made it a habit of saying, you know, every day when they get into the vehicle,
Yeah.
I would ask them, how does school go? I would, make sure to ask them, how
Make
things
sure
went,
it's not a yes or no question.
you
So they
know,
have to explain.
and well, I would make it, I wasn't like, so how did school go and what this, I would tell my kids, did you have fun today? You
Yeah.
know, what did you guys do? And
Yes.
do you need
Yes.
any help? Is there anything you need help with? And
Yeah.
so forth and so on.
That's a good parent. That's a good parent.
And, you know, and they would start talking and you'd be surprised at, how
Oh, yeah.
much you learn.
You know what I
Um,
told my kids? I said, listen, you guys, when your parents say, what'd you learn at school today? If you say nothing, I'm going to have to come visit your parents at your house.
well,
Because don't you go home and tell them you didn't learn anything, but you learned how to divide fractions today. You learned what prepositions are today. And I would just go through a quick review. You learned how to do CPR today. You learned about dental health today. I mean, I, you know what? You learned about the United States, the Civil War. We're just beginning it. You're going to love it. And you know what? I said, don't you dare. I said, that makes me act like I haven't done anything. That hurts my feelings.
I'm
Don't
going
you
to tell
dare.
you.
Don't you dare go home and tell them nothing.
I seen teachers. I seen teachers.
PG,
You
they don't know
know,
what to think about me.
I seen teachers. Tell children. They actually, tell children you're not allowed to pray in the school. They had these kids scared to
Well,
talk
guess
about
what?
God. They had them scared to
Guess
pray.
what?
You
My, my,
know,
my fifth graders did rally around the flagpole. That was prayer and devotional that they did. And my kids, I left my Bible. Who says I can't leave my Bible on my desk? And I said, hey, you guys, this is my Bible, but I've got some things highlighted in it that are, I don't know if you want to read them or not. I mean, it's kind
right,
of whatever. I'll tell you the next thing I know, I was having to look at for that Bible every day. Somebody had been reading, passed to somebody else, and they were reading what I highlighted, which is some of the most important things. But I made it seem like it was really, something. Ooh, you better find out.
right. I'm going to tell you something. I
But
think
nobody said I couldn't have a Bible on my
the
desk.
problem, the problem with this world is, is everybody's afraid of Satan and nobody's afraid of God. Everybody sees God as a good God, the nice person, the beautiful person, and they see Satan as a scary person, the one they should be fearing. They've got it backwards. Are you okay, Sherry?
PG.
Are you all right?
Yes, on YouTube,
Okay.
that's called a good cough.
All right. Boy,
You know
you
what a good
scared me,
cough
girl.
is? You know what a good cough
You
is.
scared me there for a minute.
How well. You know what a good cough is or not? It doesn't
A,
mean you're sick. Never mind.
a
I'll
good
just
a
I'll
good
just
cop.
say I'm rolling in the deep. How about that?
Oh, okay. You're talking about that kind of cop. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Okay.
cough. Bad cough.
Okay, Sherry.
I
I
think we'd
see.
get along just fine if we went out to lunch or somewhere. If I get thrown out.
I love you, Sherry. I do.
I do too. I love you too, PG. Only thing there's only been one thing that you did that I didn't like, and we'll talk about that privately.
That goody good stuff can cause that, Jay. All right.
What, baby?
Jay said she just coughed up a lung. I said that goody good stuff can cause it. Sometimes that goody good, man, it'll bite you. It'll
Let me
bite
tell you something. I told you I'd be giggling in a few minutes. Look,
you.
some people eat theirs, some people smoke theirs. Some people roll them, some people put them in a pipe. I,
Oh,
let's just
um,
get over that. Who does it now? I'm like, well,
right,
I said a lot of people are. I read an article that a lot of seniors are smoking pot more than any other group.
right,
Yeah, my
right.
caregiver said, well, why not? You do what the hell you want to when you're that age.
Amen. That's right. You only live once, honey.
That's right,
Live
honey.
it up.
If
Live
I
it up.
found out I had cancer tomorrow, you know what I'd do? I wouldn't take any kind of treatment or anything. I'd raise holy hell to the day I died.
There you go, girl. There
I'm
you go.
telling you, I would.
I heard that. I heard that. Amen.
I'm
Um,
sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm just like that.
some of these people on the hill don't believe in God, but believe in demons and devils. What? I'm going to tell you. I wanted to talk about that tonight.
Well,
Um,
I thought that had to do with you know who, the neighbor. I,
right.
I thought she was a satanic person. Or they had those meetings in the woods. Those are really strange.
Oh,
But
you're talking about Jody Sue. Yeah.
yeah, but I
Um,
didn't say her name. But what is this about somebody's girlfriend or boyfriend? It's been too long. Let me turn off my camera. I don't want to get you in trouble.
all right, sweetie. Sheer says Dawn's with Karen, Fred's sister. Now, um,
What?
well, I heard. Well, I know there was a woman up on the hill talking
Well,
with
is there a
Dawn.
picture of her? Do you have a picture of that?
Um, I know. I don't have. Listen, the person did. The person did send a
Well,
picture.
anybody's named Karen, you ought
I,
to have a
I,
picture
I,
of them.
I, I do. I do. They did show me proof that this particular woman was on the hill, but they also they also asked me not not to be showing.
Well, don't then.
They didn't give me the permission to show
Okay, don't.
the receipt. They didn't give me permission to show
No,
that.
don't then.
But there was a lady up on the hill, and she was built pretty decent, to be honest. She was built. I can't tell you really what she looked
Well,
at.
were you there, or how do
I
you know this?
I can't tell you really what she looked like
Oh, you
in
can't
the
tell me.
face, because I couldn't get a real clear view of that. But you could,
But
but
you were up at Bid Hill. I've been up
but
Bid
you
Hill too.
could, but you could see, you know, her dress. The way she's dressed was really nice. You could see, you know, she was built very nice.
She had blonde hair.
Now I don't know, you know, and put it this way. This this is pretty close. This is pretty close. Um, you know,
What is
maybe a
that?
little maybe a little thinner than her.
You
You
know, that's
know,
got to be an AI
a little
picture.
bit. This is AI. It's the
I know.
closest the
What
closest
is
I
he
can
doing? Proposing to her?
the closest I can do. You know, I think the build was, the build was a little thinner than this. But this is the closest, I can give you. Um to
Well,
what
thank
she
you.
what she was looking like. But um she wasn't a bad looking woman. She, from what I
Yeah.
witnessed, um she was built pretty good. I say she was,
Okay.
maybe,
She's more than the average bear.
as she, as body build, she wasn't bad body built at all.
Well, I'm not
Um
either. You ought to see me.
right? I did, and you know what? You're not. You're built pretty good.
I am. I don't have a bit
And
of. I have no cellulite on the back of my legs anywhere.
there you
You
go.
can you can see the muscle sinew in my calves. Seriously, I'm
Now,
healthy.
now
I had a doctor.
I don't know. I don't know. Here's what I want to say. Like I said, I saw this woman up there. I mean, through picture. I didn't see. Through a picture. I did see. There was
CC.
a woman up there. Um, but the thing is, the way she was dressed, and she was dressed very nice. She was dressed very nice. Um, I thought she
No
might.
t-shirt,
I
sweatpants.
I thought she could have been a caseworker. To be honest with you, I thought, caseworker. That's my opinion. You know,
Would you?
but but I heard, it was somebody Don supposedly was seeing. This is what I heard. Now I can't say it's Fred's sister. I can't say he said it's his sister.
Oh, okay.
But here's what um because right here, I don't know if he's with my sister or not. I know that Candace is mad at him not long ago for sleeping with my sister. So I don't know.
Do
So, you know,
any of these people have STDs? They all just switching partners all the time.
Well, Fred, um, but it
They
seems
probably all have genital warts down there. Excuse me, PG. It just flew out of my mouth. Excuse me.
Oh, see, it says that Candus was being mad at Don when these people and his sister had went up the Ben Hill Road, um, uh, like 3 weeks before he wrote this. So, Fred is insinuating that his sister wasn't only up there, while Candace was with Dee Dee and Fred, but his sister had been there before. Now, here's what I want to talk about. If his sister was up there with Dawn while Candace was with Dee Dee, and and we know what happened to Dee Dee, right? We know Dee Dee's no longer with
No,
us.
we don't.
So, well,
There's no cause
Candace,
of death, and we're waiting on the autopsy results.
I heard that.
The
I heard the results that came back,
oh really?
and from what I'm hearing, now I don't know how true it is because I haven't laid eyes on it,
Okay.
but what I am hearing
Okay.
is that they found nothing. The doctors and the coroner are basically on the same page with not understanding as to why this woman even passed away. They're like in a fog. They're in a fog as
I know,
to
but they did an
because
autopsy. It was
they
inconclusive. That means it goes to toxicology. And now you're telling me there weren't any drugs in her, any system or whatever. There are certain drugs, but I don't. That's just too
there
fantastic.
is there now here's the thing. They're trying to say that this was a perfectly, and this is not my words, this is what I'm hearing that this report is supposed to be saying, that this
This
was
is allegedly, guys.
right, allegedly
We're so used to saying that.
what the report is saying is that this was a very healthy woman, and they cannot, and they have no, and they have no way of explaining why she should have passed away. No way of explaining it. Now I'm going to
Oh,
tell you.
if somebody were trying to stuff a pillow over somebody's face, I'm just using this as a general terminology or explanation. But
Well,
even their eyes will bulge out, not bulge out, but they will show signs of strain when they're trying to get oxygen. And there will be like road maps, you know, on your eyes.
right.
That's one thing.
Well,
And,
what you don't
but
under what you don't understand is,
are you talking to me?
yeah,
Okay.
what we, well, not really just you. What we don't understand is that there is, certain drugs that will leave the system really fast and will
Yes.
not show up in
Right.
a toxicology report. Now you've got Candace there present. You got Candace present with this woman. She does not call 911. She does not do anything to resuscitate this woman. She does absolutely nothing. She sits
Just
there.
sits on the couch.
She sits there and waits for this lady to pass away. She pokes her. She said she pushed on her a couple of times, more or less to make
Does she
sure
not
she.
know how to take a pulse?
Candace's own words, from what I understand, and this is quote.
Uh,
This is quote what Candace was supposed to say to someone.
uh,
Candace said, "I was there. I did not call 911. I did not resuscitate her. I held her hand. She passed away. I nudged her a few times to make sure she's gone. And I went and sat on the couch and waited for Fred to
Fred.
get there. Now those were Candus's words, not PG's, not anyone else's. This was Candus's words that she said to someone.
Verbatim.
And that sounds to me like what it sounds to me like is I sit there, I knew she's going to die. I sit there and waited for her to die. Made sure
Why?
she's dead and went and sat on the sofa. Now
Why did she not
that's
call? Why didn't she do CPR? Is she so dumb that she not know all you have to do is start
well, that's the
compressions?
layman's terms for it, right? That's the layman's terms for it.
Well,
Exactly what she did.
just
And
keep pumping on somebody's chest. You know, where right below the sternum or just or on the sternum, and just keep pumping until somebody gets there. What you're doing is trying to start the heart again. But she didn't have a heart attack. Let's go through the four causes of death, PG. Natural, right? Suicide.
no, Dee Dee would not have took herself.
No, I'm going through the four things. There are only four causes of death. Okay? Natural. Suicide, accident, or there's one more. Come on, chat. Tell me what that last one is. I can't read chat. But there is one more. Natural, accidental, homicide. That's the other one. Homicide.
Absolutely.
There's your four major groups. So which one was it? Let's go through each one. Was it
Well,
an
I'm going to tell you when there's somebody standing there that's already a suspect, a number one suspect in their own missing child case, and this woman, they do nothing to get this woman any help at all. And then they're driving her vehicle, selling all of her stuff, and doing what Candus has been doing, and supposedly living with her husband for weeks after she passed away. I think I would say homicide, in my opinion. That's what I believe.
Okay, they ruled out natural, right?
Right?
They ruled out accidental.
Right?
Okay. And they ruled out what was
The
it?
other because they found no type of substances in her body that would have you called for her to have done something like that to herself.
Right.
So homicide's all that's left.
Well, a homicide is the only thing that's left.
Yes, absolutely.
But I'm going to do some more research on smothering people with pillows. Was there a motive?
Yes.
Or do you
Yes.
think Candus was just too stunned
Candus, I'm going to tell you, yes,
do any damn thing?
There was the same motive as when Don and Candace trapped the lady at the refrigerator. And if her friend wouldn't have came in and
What?
seen,
A refrigerator?
didn't you know that?
No.
Oh, girl, I'm telling you, yes.
Well,
Yeah.
girl, you didn't tell me about it.
In Arkansas.
A refrigerator.
In Arkansas, years ago, when Candace and Don, when Candace was pregnant with that oldest son of hers, they were in Arkansas. There was
Is that
Candace.
the one in a special home?
No, this woman had a home. She allowed this lady, a nice woman, she felt sorry for Candace and Donald, and she let them move into her house. Anyway, this woman who let Don and Candace move into their house, the story goes like this. They moved into this lady's house. She felt sorry for Candace being pregnant with the oldest son. She lets them move in. They're moved in. They're hanging inside this woman's house. Next thing you know, they trapped her at her refrigerator. She was cornered by Dawn and Candus, and they were having an altercation. This friend of hers walks in and sees the altercation going down, runs out, runs to get help, get the police. Well, the woman got scared, was so scared, she pushed Candace out of the way to run herself, to be able to run and towards the door. And anyway, the police show up, and Don and Candace is, talking about this woman, and law enforcement. The woman had some type of warrant or something for something, an old warrant on her for, I don't know if it was traffic or what it was.
It could be from another state, you know.
She had some, no, it was from there. And
Oh,
her
okay.
landlord bailed her out. He bailed her out of jail, and he had to literally throw Don and Candace out of the house because they was, it, I don't know what they was going to do with the woman at the refrigerator beforehand. But I know once she wasn't at the house, they went back in and tried to get squatter rights. They wasn't going to let her come back to her house. Matter of fact, I guess she had called there from the jail, and they told her that she wasn't coming back there, that was their place now. And she and her landlord bailed her out. She told her landlord about it, and he put them out and let her move back into her home. But she was very afraid after that. She did not want nothing to do with them. I believe she got a restraining order against them and wanted nothing to do with them whatsoever. Once she got them out of there. But she told many people that if it was not for her friend coming in at the right time and running to get help, that she doesn't know what they were going to do to her. That she was very afraid for herself. Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Uh-huh.
That is pretty wild.
And then
I even took off my glasses for that story.
when they went to Tennessee, moved in with Don's mother, I heard
PG,
from
I've got 20 people's names that have disappeared from this, uh, from all of this. The person who knew all 20 of these people was, guess who? Who would be the hub of the wheel? After I put all these people's names out, I'm like, okay, who has something to do with this person? Who has something to do with this person? Who knew this person? Hey, guess what? The hub of the wheel is
Don and Candace.
the big C.
Yeah, pretty much Candace.
No, he didn't have a contact with some of these people. Only she did.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, like Dee Dee.
That's true. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, it's
Now,
true. It is true.
Dennis, you can try to come after me if you want to, but I'll tell you what. Good luck getting in here for one thing. In my neighborhood. And then two, good luck getting to my house where I've got cameras. Look, I might have overdone it, but I have 26 cameras. And I have alarms all around my house. If you come within a certain perimeter of my house, these alarms go off. And
Amen.
oh yeah, I know somebody's walking in my driveway. I know if somebody's coming through this way. I can hear it.
Right. Auntie Sherry,
Yes,
um,
ma'am.
I'm going to put you back in the chat um, for your
Yes.
protection. I'm going to put you back in the chat and finish up here.
What do you mean for my protection?
Um, for for your own protection. I mean, because I don't want, I don't want any trouble for you. None. I want no trouble for you from, these people. This is a case where a lot of people are, coming
Of
up.
course, they're going to be intrigued because I was here. I can go anywhere I want to. Do you know that?
Oh, I do, but I'm not talking about like Day Day and Jinkies and them. I'm talking about, you know, Summer's case.
Okay.
The people
I'll
surrounding us.
be quiet about it. You drop me off. But a high five, PG.
High five, sweetie, and I
You know what a
appreciate.
high five is. Came
Right?
from the little rascals.
Hey, I love you, Sherry.
I love you
God
too.
bless you. All right. I just want, I want Sherry's a good woman, and I don't want, her involved in any of this. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, this is not a case. This is not a case that you want, you know. I mean, like Australia, Australia, I wouldn't be worried. All right. And little PG, I wouldn't be worried. They're pretty, mean women. But Auntie Sherry, I don't want her involved in this. Um, no. So anyway, as I was saying, Fred says that that Candus was with his sister before. You know, well, who did they off then? I mean, if this is true, who did Don have Candace on at that time to reap something from? Because it seems like this is their strategy. Put a one in the chat if you're if you're understanding what I'm saying and you're following me. Put a one in the chat. If you don't understand what I'm saying and I need to bring it down to more layman terms, put a two. But if you're following me, you understand what I'm saying, put a one in the chat. Because I don't want anyone misunderstanding what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that this seems to be a strategy that Candace goes somewhere. Don, they act like they're split up. Don gets with one of these women like Fred's sister. Candace runs off and she manipulates someone else for self gain. That's what it sounds like to me. That is a strategy, one of the games that they play. And Don and Candace play a lot of fucking games, right? They play a lot of games. That's what I'm talking about. So if they did this to Dee Dee this time, well, Fred's sister's supposed to be there. Then who in the hell, what the hell, who the hell, and what the hell did they do to somebody else the time before, right? That's my question. How many victims? My question is, how many victims have these people had? How many victims was before Summer? How many victims have been after Summer? Because it seems like there's a lot of victims in all of this, to be honest with you. A ton of them, like a big ton of them. Let's see. Let's just take a look at them. And up until this baby, up until this beautiful baby, nobody was paying attention. Nobody was paying attention, right? To who was and who wasn't a victim to all of this. We had no eyes on it. But since Summer came up missing, we've had our eyes on it. And we've seen a whole lot going on here. And they say, well, there's no facts in this case. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of facts. Now, there might, when it comes to law enforcement, it might not be facts until they write it down and put it in stone. And just because they're not writing it down and putting it in stone don't mean there ain't no facts. It just means that they're not fucking writing it down and putting it in stone for facts to be accumulated and prosecution to be, you know, um, put forth as you know it should have been. Um, that's all it means. It basically means law enforcement ain't doing their damn job. If you ask me, that's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. But fact, this baby was looking sick, and if I had to determine, was sick before she disappeared. Fact, black tote behind this little girl that disappeared um after after Candus and Grandis got back to the house. Black tote was there on the 12th. Black tote's gone after the 15th. Fact, Don Wells was driving the Subaru on the 14th, fired his coworker to blame everything on. On the 15th, he's driving it again because it has Starlink and he needs the extra alibi. So, there you go. Fact. Hold on 1 second. A fact. That was um one of my kids. You guys asking a question. Um, in fact, Hunter went to that swimming hole. We saw Candus on the video. She videos him, puts the video on him. He has no shirt on. He says he pulled his shirt off. He went out into the water. No, he had no shirt on when she first started videoing him. He turned around, gave her this look. He gave her a look like, what the hell you doing? And then he tried to play it off. He goes down into the water. Video goes off. The next thing we know, this baby's on the milk jug. Looks like she's propped up. Now, Hunter plainly said she did not get dried and dressed at the pond, that she was wet on a pillow when they went back to get the prescription. She was wet on a pillow when they went through Sonics, that she was wet on a pillow. He said leaning against the driver's side door. He said she was wet against the driver's side door. Why would she be against the door? Wouldn't she be sitting up? When I mean, if I went somewhere with somebody and we went swimming and then we're getting a vehicle and they asked, where was you? And I was in the middle. I say, well, I was sitting in the middle, where was the child? I would say, oh, sitting in the next to me in the behind the driver, on the driver's side, sitting next to me. I wouldn't say against the door. Oh, she was, in the back, driver's side against the door. If she's against the door, it means the door's holding her up, right? She's laying. She's not up. She's not moving. I mean, you got to read between the lines. And then he said she's still wet when they go to the grocery store. So where did she get changed? She had to got changed at Allison's house, right? Hey, the real Andy B. How you doing tonight? Just cruising around. Well, it's good to see you. But, there's no way that she was dressed on a pillow wet against the driver's side door. So she didn't get dried up. She didn't, Candus wasn't a good mama that, dried her kid up so she wouldn't be cold and all the shit they was trying, all the smoke they was trying to blow up our backsides at the beginning of this. Dawn trying to act like Candus Mother of the Year, dried up her kid, dressed it all up so it would be warm on the ride home after swimming. Bullshit. We found out it's bullshit. They lied. because Hunter plainly stated that and then Hunter wanted to separate himself. We saw him go into the water, but he wanted to say she's wet. But he didn't want to say himself was wet. Why does he want to separate himself from Summer? And not only that, but why did he go home, you know, with his knees knocking, his hands shaking, you know, and his teeth chattering, and all distraught, hiding in a room and wouldn't come out if nothing went down at the swimming hole? If nothing happened, why would this kid be so freaked the fuck out? Why would he come out later and say, what am I supposed to do? Just live with this? Am I just supposed to live with this? Right? Why would he come out being all distraught like that? I'm telling you, I truly believe that Candus took this boy with them. They used Grandis's knee to go into Kingsport to pick Hunter up because he's already up waiting. That I think he already knew. I think he already agreed. So they pick him up. They go to this place. They do, they do what they do. And this poor child, in my opinion, is unalived on that milk jug. Now, all of this stuff is fact. The fact that he wanted to separate himself from being wet when we saw him go in the water is fact. Him saying that she was wet, leaning, against the driver's side door, that's fact. Him shaking and rattling and rolling and, having all kinds of mental issues after going to that swimming hole that day is fact. There's a lot of witnesses to it. His own grandmother, his great-grandmother, his own mother. Too many witnesses. Even his sister says, I believe that Candus took my brother and used him. I do too. I do too. I'm telling you, there's a lot of facts. Why law enforcement's not using these facts to prosecute upon, I don't know. Look at Don Wells. You know that this was planned out and carried out on the 15th because just one day before this little girl's missing, Don Wells drives this Subaru, which he's going to need as, an alibi, to work. He didn't ever drive it before, didn't drive it after, but he drove it that day to fire his co-worker to blame everything on. Because law enforcement always says, is there anybody angry enough at you to do something like this to you? And Don knew that. He's a criminal-minded piece of shit. So he fires his co-worker, hoping to blame it on, and he drives his car for the extra alibi on the 14th and 15th. He didn't want it to look like he just wanted to drive it for an alibi on the 15th, so he drove it on the 14th and 15th. And then he doesn't drive it no more. He doesn't drive it no more. And that tells us what? It tells us that Don Wells damn knew what was going down. He knew what was going down. He was at work hiding that ass, like he always does, hiding that fucking ass while somebody else carries out the mother freaking dirty deed. Right? That he was all in on and he was all for to keep his ass out of prison. Now, what was wrong with this little girl that would put them in prison? What happened to this little girl that would put them in prison if they was to try to seek some medical attention for her? Because you can clearly see she's sick, needing a doctor. So what? So what is wrong with her that they got to destroy her like this? I think we all pretty much know. I think we all know. But these right here, these are the culprits right here. There's no way nobody's coming up there taking a little girl with a mother dog and puppies, mom and grandma sitting outside right here looking and seeing everything, and three big boys in the house. Hell no. Hell no. Ain't happening. That's just pure bullshit. And then Jody Sue making up that fake ass scream. But you got all of these people. And I agree with Andy. I think she's straight across the road. I think she's across the street, right there in that cemetery, right here. If you ask me, law enforcement, if they want to find her, they probably could do it right there where the flowers are. Because Don and Candus are the ones that put those flowers on there. If you ask me, that's my opinion. But, look, this guy right here comes up on a live the same exact way that Cotton Simpson came up on a live, right? This dude right here. Now, he comes up on a live before Summer went missing, but he's relevant to Summer's case because it's the same scenario as Cotton Simpson, who was part of Summer's case, right? That's what I'm talking about. It's like the Boston Strangler, right? Or the smelly face, weirdo. They have a certain way that they destroy people, and it's a pattern. It's a pattern. Well, the same pattern fits Cotton that fit that particular guy. Right here's another one. Came up on a live right after Summer's disappearance. Another one on a live after Summer came up missing. It's funny because both of Fred's parents passed away right after that little girl. Um, you know, did they know something? Was they threatening to tell something? I don't know. I don't know. This guy came up on the live as well. Cotton Simpson's mother came up on the live as well. She was old, but she came up on the live. But she also had something to tell. She had a deep, dark secret that Cotton had told her. And, she came up on the live as well. This particular man that Don Wells had talked to, Don had told some very weird stuff to, came up on the live as well. Right? This is the list right here. A young lady that, this young lady tried to help another child. She took a little girl to the grandparents' house, because of stuff she knew that she didn't want happening to the little girl. And, law enforcement got nasty with her. I mean, the court system let her go, but law enforcement put her through the court system, even though she's trying to help the little girl. So, and then she comes up on the live, you tell me what the hell's going on here. And that had to do with some essaying stuff too. Here's another one. Once they found out where he was no more. Right? Here's another one. There's another one. And this is in order. This is in order. This is how these people passed away. From the beginning of Summer's case to now. This runs from the beginning of Summer's case up to right now. This is all in order, how each person, passed away in order. What you're looking at is 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes in order. There's Leslie. She passes away the exact same way as Allison. She has the flu. A real bad flu. She falls. She hits her head. She goes into a coma. She dies. Allison had the flu, accidentally fell, hit her head, went in a coma, and died. Do you see the pattern here? It's a pattern. And both of these women who died the exact same way had one common denominator called Hunter. And in my opinion, I don't think these women had the flu real bad, just happened to fall, hit their heads, and die. I don't believe that. That I don't believe it. Here's another one, Cotton Simpson. He passed away the same way as the first guy you saw. Same scenario. And, Fred Heel and his buddy followed Cotton Simpson. Fred Heel plainly stated that him and another guy named Simpson, Marvin Simpson, followed Cotton the very evening that he came up unalived. And and they had an altercation. And they had an altercation about Summer before he got followed and unalived. And there's Fred's mother, who, happened to come up unalived as well. And some people, were saying that Laura supposedly had a hand in that woman being unalived. Now, I don't know. I don't know. That's just rumor that was floating around. I remember that being said. Um, and this woman here that was telling about, she was telling about how bad Donald had mistreated his own mother, because she was one of the women that went over and checked on his mom every day and was taking care of his mother. And this particular woman was, talking a little more about some things. She came up on unalived as well. And she's the one that Jody Sue was at her home, and she had to call the police, and Jody Sue was where they found the footprint, one of the feet print. This is the woman who, her and her daughter, caught Jody Sue on their property, and Jody Sue said she was looking for clinking metal. I'm looking for clinking metal. Did you hear any clinking metal? The day that Summer supposedly disappeared. And they told her to get off the property because they was afraid she might try to plant something or something. They did call the police. They had the police search all of their property and let the police come in and search their home as well, because they were scared, finding Jody Sue all over their place. And a footprint had been found between her property and another man's property, more on the other man's property than hers, was a footprint, one of the feet prints, supposedly. That's what I heard. And this was old Mr. Goad's sister. This is Don Wells' stepdad's sister, right there. And then this was a real one, because this Nana's Angel said she had found something that like super or something, and she was bringing it out. She said it was like, like really top information, and she was about to expose it. And she ended up dead, like, I think the next day after saying it. She ended up passed away. And then Allison, right? Then we got Allison. She passed away too. And then this Jerry guy, he comes up, unalived as well, in the surroundings of all of this. Donald's dad happens to come up unalived. And according to Mary, there could have been some foul play in all of this as well. I don't know, but I'm hearing. There's an old man that supposedly Candus was seen. There's some people who seen Candus inside of an old man's house. They saw the old man sitting in a chair. They heard a TV set. He's sitting in a chair covered up with blankets and stuff. And Candus was inside this man's cabin. They said they could tell it was like a log cabin. She was inside of it, calling herself the man's caretaker. And nobody knows where the old man went or where that cabin happened to be that she was inside of. And this was just before D-Day. This was just right before D-Day. And then there was D-Day. Candus holding her hands, nudging her to make sure she's dead. Did not call 911, did not do anything for this woman. No CPR, no anything, no, oh my God, um, hang on, hang with me, call 911. No. She sits there and she holds her hand till the last breath comes out of her, doing nothing to save her, nudges her to make sure she is on alive, and then goes and sits on a sofa and waits. What the hell was that about? Nobody knows. But all of this surrounding this little girl's case, all of that surrounding one little girl's case. Anyhow, all of it surrounding one little girl's case, right? And if that much happened since this little girl disappeared, how much more? I'm going to bring you up, girl. How much more has happened before? How much more went wrong before this little girl disappeared? I don't know. I don't know.
She went through too much pain. She went through a horrendous life. Can you
Yeah.
imagine what she went through?
Well, there she
And now
is.
she's in the arms of our Lord.
There she is, looking very, very, sick. Very sick. I mean, she looks sick here.
She does.
And then after, and then, on the 12th, on June the 12th, she looks real bad off. Look at her. She looks really bad off on June the 12th.
Absolutely. That
She couldn't
photo's
even stand.
terrible.
This baby couldn't even stand up straight. She didn't have the strength.
I
Something,
know.
something seriously wrong. Something was seriously wrong with this little girl.
Do you
Seriously wrong.
remember the swing video of her, PG? You
Yes.
know, the one where she's swinging? If you
Yes.
look at her face in that one,
I'm going to tell
you
you,
take photos of her face when she's on that swing, she looks totally out of it.
well, on that swing,
Very sick.
you could tell that she was hanging on. She wasn't feeling well because she was hanging on with everything she had. Um,
What kind of parents let their kids on a swing like that, though? You wouldn't catch me letting Maddie on a swing like that at the age of 5.
you know what? A swing set, a real swing set,
Dangerous.
a real swing set only cost us about $200. two
He
hundred
could have
dollars.
knocked one up on a tree. 2
Man,
pieces of earth and a plank of wood.
we was very, very poor. My parents we was really poor. I was very poor growing up. And I'm going to tell you something. Um, like sometimes, we didn't know if we was going to be able to pull through until payday, um, with my parents. And my parents, they didn't have any type of substance problems, or alcohol or anything. My parents didn't do none of that, but we was very poor. I mean, the money did go where the money needed to go. I can say that. And but my parents, I could say one thing about them. There was always a swing set in the yard, a swing set. As poor as they was, they tell us to take care of it, because it's going to have to last a year, 2 or 3 years. um if we wanted to have a swing set for a few years, we had to take good care of it, and we did. We took good care of it. But we had a real swing set. We had trees, but my dad wouldn't hang no swing from a tree, because he would be too afraid one of us get hurt. The
Yeah,
branch
that's
come down
true.
on us, we might hit the tree. He
Yeah,
cared about our safety. So he didn't do that. And he always made sure, that he weighed that swing set down so it wouldn't tip and hurt us. So, what was Don and Candace's problem? I mean, Don made damn good money. He could buy dirt bikes for those boys. He could have bought a swing set for that little girl. What was his problem?
why did they have to live in such a debacle? The place was just a pig pen. You could, you could, you can be poor and homeless and set up a tent with your children and be a lot cleaner than what those two were with those poor children. Do you know
I
what I
don't,
mean?
right. I don't think just chilling. I don't think Summer's case is going cold. In all honesty, I think her case is not cold. I think it's hot. I think it's on the desk. And
I do too.
I truly believe it's waiting for the new sheriff to come in. I
Yep.
think I don't think Ronnie Lawson wants to be in the spotlight of Summer's case being solved, because of his son, because of what his son did and caused. I don't think he wants to be the spotlight of Summer's case getting solved and getting prosecuted. That's my opinion right now. So when the new sheriff comes in, I believe that her case will be solved, or it will go cold at that time.
I hope they do something with Don and Candace. Those two are disgusting. You did a mighty good job all those years sitting up here, PG, talking to them.
I got a little off track tonight. I kind of went to
Did you?
the politics side, but
Oh, I've been.
what? We
I
really
was moving
need,
into the new house, but while you were talking, I had to go and pick up the keys
right.
and
We
took a
really
load
we
over, and I just got back.
we really, as Americans, we really need to focus on our country, you know, because it's very important. It applies to all of us, and we got to focus on this country, and keep our country free, and keep all of our rights, and do something to bring all of these prices down, so people could have a better life
It's
and a better
going on
living.
all around the world, though.
It shouldn't go on
You,
in America.
you,
It
you
should
should
not go on
see
here.
Australia.
Um, America's America is the richest country in the world. We're the richest country in the world. We're the freest country in the world. You know, this country was built from scratch. It was built from nothing into what it is today. And we should be very proud of how far we came, how far we're going, and we need to understand that we the people own this country. We build it, we own it, And these people causing us so much stress. They're actually working for us. We're paying them, and they're supposed to be doing what we want them to do, and they're not. And we need to stand up, and we need to speak up, and we need to get done what needs to be done, because our ancestors and their ancestors and all of us have paid and built this country to what it is today, and we have every right to want it to be ran the way we want it ran, and we have every right to want our people taken care of in this country. Our we got a lot of people right now very worried where their next meal's coming from, and no one should be worried about that in a country this rich. No one
Oh, that's a
should be worried
shame.
about it. I mean, we should have the finest foods in our supermarkets. We should have, the best of everything. This is America, man, and it feels like they're, that they're serving us up the worst. And I don't know who's getting the best, but we need to find out, because that best belongs to us, not no one else. That's all I'm saying.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But she looks very
Australia's
sick. She looks
Australia's
very,
having a hard time too.
yeah,
Very
a lot of
expensive
people are.
over here to buy a home. Um, the average home 700,000 to 1 million,
Right.
and that's just for that's just for an average home.
And
The
you're not
dream
getting
of living the dream of living in a city
you're not
has
getting no
gone.
bang. You're getting no bang for your bucks. You're getting
No,
no bang for your bucks. You know. And our government, they don't give our people nothing. Our people get, I mean, they done cut our people off of their money, um, supply. Like, a lot of people used to be able to get money. Women that had, single moms had kids, they could get money, and they could stay home and actually raise their kids, up until school age, so they could put them in school and then go to work. They don't do that for those mothers anymore. These mothers have to go to
parenting
work
pension.
ASAP. Um, they also don't, they're cutting off the mother's child care. They're cutting off the mother's free
That's
housing or low
ridiculous.
income housing. They're cutting off, and now they're cutting off all of these single moms stamps and everything.
Oh
And I'm going to tell
no.
you, I don't need any of that. I don't need none of that stuff. But I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of women that do, you know, and a lot of these women, I'm sure that they're my family, they're your family, they're everybody else's family. And I'm going to tell you, I have no problem seeing my tax dollars go towards the people I love. I'd rather it go towards the people I love than a bunch of people I don't fucking even know.
Yep.
And it's sad when a bunch of people you don't even know is getting all of this. It's not like, America cut out all the free housing for everybody. I would have no problem if they're going to cut it off for everyone. But they took it from the American citizens, from the real people paying the taxes to help their own people, in need. They took it away from them, and they gave it to people that we don't even know, people that should not even be here. They're here, a lot of these people is illegal. They shouldn't be here. But, and they're giving it all to them. And it's not right. There's nothing right about it. Now, if they want to cut it all off to where nobody gets anything and everybody has to work for their living, if you don't work, you don't eat, kind of thing, well, I'm all for that. But by God, don't take it away. Don't take it away from the American citizens who need it in order to give it to somebody else who shouldn't even be here. That's just bullshit. And that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't take care of your own, then don't bring more here to take care of. If you can't take care of your own, don't open the door and bring more in to be taken care of.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Hey, even the Bible says to, even the Bible tells you to pull that big plank out your own eye before you try to pull the splinter out of your brother's eye. You know, take care of yourself first, and then other people. It plainly states that, and that's what this country needs to do. It needs to be, it needs to be taking care of its own. And if it can't afford to give free stuff to their own, then we should be giving free stuff to no damn body. That's just how it is, right? I mean, put a one in the chat if you agree with me. If we can't afford to take care of our own, then we don't need to be taking care of anyone else. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. It's just the way it is. I mean, you know, I just ain't one of those, you know, people who I'm not going to support what shouldn't be supported. I ain't going to do it.
I hear you.
I'm going to tell you, I always felt that families first. Families first. And America and Americans are my family. Real Americans are my family. That's my family. They're the ones that have busted their asses just like PG, paid taxes and everything just like PG in order to make this country what it is today. And I want to see my people being taken care of. I want to see Americans taken care of. And if they can't take care of real Americans, then we ain't got time or money to be taking care of no one else. If they have to cut real Americans off of everything because of some shortages, then we need to not be giving anyone no damn free stuff. That's the way it is. Good night, Auntie Sherry. God bless.
Good night, Auntie Sherry. Good to see you.
All right.
Anyway, PG, I'll get down. Um, I won't be in for a couple of nights now because tomorrow the internet's off, and the next 2 days we're sort of in and out of different homes.
Oh, girl, I hear you. I hear you. But good
I
for
pulled
you.
the muscles on I did my back in tonight. Oh, it's
Oh,
killing.
oh,
Yeah, I
I,
lifted something the wrong way.
oh, Lord, girl, I've done that. I feel for you. I feel for you.
There's still a whole lot more to move. It's a
I,
nightmare.
I got so happy with Christmas one year. Um, I got so happy with Christmas, and I went up to bring the big box of Christmas decorations or whatever down and here I am dancing down the steps, and I hate to say it, my dance turned into a real rock and fucking roll because
Oh
I
no,
don't.
did you fall?
Oh, girl, I'm gonna tell you what. I like the steps became a sliding board and everything else,
Oh,
Mama
and
went sliding.
yeah, and I'm gonna tell you,
hello.
it took a while. It took a while for me to walk right after that. Right?
Oh,
I,
I still
I
say, is
really,
your hip okay,
I really
Mama?
busted my ass. Let me tell you something. It was,
lucky I had Maddie with me. She's got super long nails, and here she is. Um, I'm holding this container and she's in my way, and I said, "Will you move?" And she does it. She didn't understand what I meant, and I said, "Get out of my way." And I
right.
kicked her container well and truly out of the way, and then got it inside. And anyway, she ended up pulling another three huge containers into the house. She's got super long nails. I don't know how she does it.
Right. I'm telling you. You got to be
And
careful.
she's going, this room's my room. And I said, no, that's my room. And she goes, no, it's my room. And I said, I've got news for you, it's my room. We're arguing over this one room. It's got beautiful wardrobes in it and a nice light, and she wants it.
I, you had to put your foot down. You had to put your foot down and take it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her, she can have the one next to me.
You're
I'm taking
right.
the good one. Yep,
Right.
yep, she can
Heard
have it
that.
when I'm dead.
Yeah.
When I'm
Right.
dead and gone to glory, then it's her turn.
Exactly.
All
Exactly.
right. I love you all, and I'll see you in a couple of days, PG.
Hey, I love you too, girl.
All right. Love you both. Bye.
Bye
Love
bye.
ya.
All
Are
right, you
you
guys.
feeling any better, Mama, where you feel?
Uh, yeah, girl. I'm doing a little better. Um, I've been
But
trying
you're
to.
bruised.
Oh no. When it wasn't this year. I was talking about a few years
It was
back.
last.
It was a few
Right.
years ago. I was telling her that about.
Oh,
Luckily, no. This year, I've been very, very blessed. I've been very blessed this year to um, be able to. But you know what? I'm like, I'm that redneck. I'm that redneck woman. I keep my lights up all year long. Right?
love it.
For
Love it.
real. I mean, at my house, it's Christmas every day. I like
Right.
to I like
Well,
to
I didn't
stay
mean to bother
reminded.
you at work.
I like to stay reminded that there's someone above us. Oh, girl, I tell you what, I got the cutest, like the cutest, little Christmas tree. It's
Oh,
not big, it's little, but oh my goodness, it is like really, really. I got like big Christmas trees too, but I got this
right.
little one, and I'm gonna tell you, I totally and utterly love it. Like I love this
Oh,
little tree. It is just like super freaking cute. And my kids got it for me, and I was ecstatic about
oh.
it. But my kids are also um wanting me to get off of here. Um
All right.
and
Well, I love you. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mom.
a girl, no problem at all. They
I
they've been
wanted to
in
check
and
on you.
they've been in and out all night. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're they're checking
Spend
on
time
me.
with Dad.
They're check
What's
they're
Dad
checking
doing?
on me, make sure I'm still here. Right?
Right. What's Dad doing?
I tell you what, he's already went to bed. He went to bed. I try to get my kids to follow his lead, just go to bed. But
Right.
I got two of them. I got two of them that just won't go to sleep until they know that I'm off of here, and at least that's what they say. I don't know.
Right.
We just want to make sure that uh, you get out of the office okay and all this stuff. I'm not even in the office tonight. Matter of fact, I'm out. I'm out by the washroom, and
Uh,
but then again, I don't know. I don't know. They might think that they might think that I'm going to get cold feet after the marriage and take
right.
off. They don't want me to
Oh,
disappear without them.
you're
Right.
not never gonna leave them. Right. Well, I love you and prayers to you, Mama.
And I love you
Prayers over
too,
Pat.
girl. I'm gonna
Sorry
tell
for
you,
bothering you today. I
he'll
was
have
just
to
worried.
leave, not me. Right?
Right?
Anybody's leaving, it's got to be him, not me. They don't
That's
have to worry
right.
about that. Hey, girl, I love you too.
Love you.
Good night. All right, you guys. Um, I'd like to get through a lot more tonight, but I have to get off of here because it is, I got work tomorrow too, right? It ain't tomorrow ain't Friday. We're just starting. We're just starting this week. So we got to get our rest. But I tell you what, I love you guys. I appreciate each and every last one of you coming in tonight, hanging out with PG, listening to all of the stuff. I think a lot of what we went through tonight was very important. I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow night. And hopefully I won't get on politics. Hopefully I won't, I won't be watching any come tomorrow morning, but um we'll get, we'll get back to what I should have been completely covering tonight. I'll make sure that I cover completely, tomorrow, God willing. God gives us tomorrow. We'll be back and we'll do it again. Right. All right, you guys. God bless. God blessings and good night. Much love. Keep the prayers going up for Summer Moon, Utah Wells. I don't ever leave here without asking you, please pray for this baby. Please. Before you go to bed tonight, bow your head, fold your hands, and just ask God to please help us out in this case, because you know what? We're not going to be able to solve it without Him. That's for sure. So ask Him if He could, and if He will, please put a hand in all of this and solve this case up for us so that we can all get closure in this case. Her brothers, all of us, and little Summer. God bless her. Let her be laid to rest righteously. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Good night, everybody. God bless and much love.